Hello and welcome to the Making It podcast. We are here for episode 30. I can't believe it. 30 episodes in. We set every week and feels like time's going even quicker, Dan. We are more than halfway through the year. And, there's only 22 more episodes of the year left to go if you think about it before season 2, I suppose, which is 2026. Yeah, that's right. But it is good to be back for another episode. And Dan, we are here. 30 episodes in. Feels so good. It's good to have you here, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, man, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. I mean, episode 30, you're right, bro. It goes quick. I mean, just looking at the date, it's 19th of July. Like, time really does fly. But I'm good. I've just come off the back of a park run, so it's Saturday, just hit midday for me. It's 9 p.m. for Jamie out in Aussie. He's back in his home now where he's staying in Aussie. He's come off his Western Australia strip. But no, I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling good. I've had a nice week. I've done some really cool things this week. I went on a night out in London with my mate Fiki and Nella. Met Fiki's family out in London, and it was a really good time. We had one of those nights which we've had before, where it's random night. You don't really have a plan. You stumble across the most randomest places. In fact, we were in a pub, and I was going towards the toilets, which turned out to be. I realised I was in the wrong area. I was going towards the ladies. I didn't go in, of course, but right to the right of the ladies' toilets was a comedy club that you could just go in and just watch some comedy. So we were watching that, and that was that was quite entertaining. Some were good, some were bad. It's a bit awkward on the bad ones, but my mate Ollie was just fake laughing at times just to help him out. But then went and saw my grandparents, which was really good fun. Went to Grimsby, saw my nana, and then we were in Kroll, a place near Scunthorpe and Doncaster. Saw my grandma with my brother. So it was nice spending time with my brother and my family. And then coaching again this week, which was good fun, which is always fulfilling. And then something I want to dive into, which I did yesterday. So Friday evening was something called Sunset Journal. Someone I know through a good friend, Adam, Mo, he has got a YouTube channel. Not got an awful lot of attention as of right now, but he's learning his craft, so to speak. And he does these sunset journals where he'll have someone. I was the third one so far, and he'll ask some questions. And in the video, you can't hear his voice; you just see the question. And the idea is that the person receiving the questions is almost responding to their subconscious. So there was a few questions, and there's some questions I'd like to speak with you as well.
Mm.
The last one was something about self love and self acceptance, and I feel like that's something we touch on a lot on this podcast. Um, but the first one, and it's one of those where it could go quite deep, and you can only really say what you feel like saying on the podcast. But the first one was, what's a truth about yourself that you're afraid to admit?
A truth about myself that I'm afraid to admit, and this is anything at all.
Is anything, mate? So while you think a little
Ooh.
bit, my response was, sometimes I feel maybe, and we spoke about this a lot, sometimes maybe I feel like I give people too much of a chance. Maybe sometimes I've thought about to myself, maybe I'm too nice at times, but I kind of labeled that as a strength of mine, the fact I care, but maybe sometimes I care too much. That was what I spoke about, which wasn't the darkest or deepest things ever, but that's something that's what I said. But yeah, what are your thoughts, brother?
My honest truth. Um, I would say I'm quite an insecure person, bro. I'll be honest. It takes me a long time to get changed in the morning. Um, just because I worry too much about how I look, how I think I'm going to be perceived, and it will just break me. Like it'll be go past the mirror, have a look, go back, have another look, and you're just constantly going back and forward. And I can never ever get real serious peace from it, you know. Um, so I'd say I'm insecure and that I worry too much about what people think, appearance wise. I think that is my. I think I lower myself, um, which is stupid because in my head I don't really believe what I'm thinking. Like I don't really believe it. Some days where I feel super confident, but no, a lot of the time, man, I think it's just like an insecurity thing. That's
What sort of things come into your head about what you just said there? Is it What sort of questions are you asking yourself about how people will perceive you? Is it mainly about judgment from others? What sort of judgment is that?
Well, you know what, Dan? I'll say it. I'll say what we had a big conversation when we were in Newcastle. Um, it wasn't on the vlog because then the vlog would have been about 4.5, 5 hours. So we decided to leave that, and we also didn't record it because it was just a normal chat. But you know, like I kind of said there, I don't know. You know, like that feeling of being normal. I've never searched for it in a lot of aspects of my life, like music. My music's my music. I'm sorry, I'm going to swear here, Dan. I couldn't give a fuck what anyone thinks of the music that I love because to me, my music taste is the best there is. But you know, it's the kind of the normal in terms of relationships, long term and short term. The normal in terms of how you should look, what you should wear. A lot of these things that I truly don't believe in deep down in my logical thinking, rational brain. But when it comes to just these moments where I'm feeling a bit, a bit vulnerable perhaps, my brain is fully in the idea of you're not normal. Like, why aren't
when
you normal?
when was a time, and you may say there never was a time, but when was a time when you feel like you felt at the most peace in life?
The most peace. Like a specific sort of period of time
Just a period of
or a
time where
moment?
you felt confident in yourself, you felt free, you felt not satisfied, because I don't know if we can ever be fully satisfied, but satisfied with the present moment. You just felt content with how things are.
There was one day when I was commentating at Forest, I remember it. And I'd woke up that day and I'm like, today's the day. Just straight out was like, yeah, today is going to be a good day. And I put on this one fragrance that I love a lot. I mean, I don't wear it a lot. You know me, I like to collect them. There was this one that I'd just not worn for a long time. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I kind of shave my face a little. At the time, my quarter zip fit me before it got fucked in the dryer. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to wear my nicest clothes and try and look a bit smart. That was the day I met Martin Tyler. And it was the day that I just didn't feel any pressure to do my job. I didn't feel any nerves to do my job. I didn't feel any nerves to just go up to someone and speak to them and ask them a question. I didn't worry about the time it would take me to get to the city ground. I didn't worry about being late. I didn't worry about how I looked. I got out of the shower, dried my hair, and that was it done. I didn't worry about who I was going to see, who I wasn't going to see. I didn't worry about who's going to text me back or who's not going to text me back. I didn't worry about anything. I was just in the moment.
Is there
That
anything in
was
particular on that day which you could kind of pinpoint made that happen for you, or did it just happen?
things just aligning. Good weather. The perfect weather for a jumper and not feeling too warm. It sounds strange what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to get at is that when you're insecure about something, just being slightly over temperature in a jumper, or all these things, they kind of represent how you feel. Just these little things that annoy you, like they get to you, you know. And I think that day it was probably just the aftershave I had on. I thought I looked all right in the mirror, and I was like, you know what, it's going to be a good day today. But there is just some days where I do wake up with more confidence. And I've tried so many different ways to try and be consistent with it. Better sleep, not eating a certain thing, not drinking a certain thing. But I'll be honest with you, mate, it just comes and goes. And no matter what I try, it always just comes and goes. And it's just how I deal with it that gets better as I get older. You know, as I get older, I know how to deal with things. I get out of the shower, I dry my hair, I don't look at it for as long anymore. I just get out.
Yeah,
I
bro,
used to
that's
hate wearing hats because I was terrified of having flat hair. Just stupid little things that used to really grind me that I'm just kind of trying to train myself out of. This sounds so stupid, but these are things I don't tell people about. But that's my honest truth. I've got so many little things that just wind me up every day.
That's the one though. The fact that it does just come and go, and it's how you deal with it which gets better. I think for me, that's something I've also really learned. And also, I just want to say I appreciate your honesty, mate. It's nice to. I think it's always nice to hear someone being open, and I know for listeners as well that it's nice to hear someone being open because it's refreshing. It's refreshing. We a lot of us aren't open enough. But that idea of things coming and going is super important because, like we said a bit in the pre-chat, with certain emotions, it's not fighting them. I don't think you can, and if anyone disagrees, but I don't think you can ever win a battle, particularly with certain emotions. And when I say that, I've kind of just when I was saying that, I kind of had a little thought. I think you can win the battle, but I think the important thing is to have the awareness that it isn't a battle. You aren't battling with your thoughts. You aren't battling with your mind because that is it's a draining battle. But letting those emotions come in and letting them sit, not trying to throw them off the bench, but letting them sit there for a bit, maybe having a chat with them and understanding them, and then letting it walk off and doing its thing is probably more beneficial for anyone. In terms of myself, that's how I've always felt. If I've had a deep, dark emotion, fighting it has never won for me. It's always let it come in, understand it, and let it go. But brother, that is not an easy thing.
Tough, right?
Probably one of the hardest things in life, man. Probably one of the hardest things in life because taking action on things is what we always want to do. But sometimes taking action on certain thoughts doesn't lead to a positive action. And I think what we're talking about right now, just being open and you being open about your insecurities. I think what you just said there, I think a lot of people would agree with you. And I know you label some things as being a bit like, I know it sounds a bit weird, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who think, you know what, I feel the same. Because there's a lot of us, there's a lot of people out there who have insecurities. In fact, I would almost say we all do. We all do to some extent, some more than others. But we like to put it off. We like to put this mask on. We like to put a face on. We like to act like we're that soldier that can get through anything. But insecurity is a massive one, and I think the first step is always talking. So I appreciate your honesty, bro. But it's stop right there. This is Daniel talking here, and I know right now you're enjoying the episode, but I've just got to give a really big shout out to something, and it's Making It Moments. That's where our guests are. That's where the people we bring on to talk about their journeys are. Go and listen to Making It Moments. Go find them on our Spotify and YouTube. Find clips on our socials. Making It Poddy. Making It Moments. That we should all be aware of.
Yeah, and do you know what? I just don't care about not being honest anymore. I don't see the value in lying. I don't see it. I don't see it because you can lie to everyone you want. Everyone you meet for the rest of your life, go lie to them. But you can never ever lie to yourself. Deep down, you'll always know the truth about yourself, the honesty. You are a book that you do not have to open. This is the power of being you. Everything that you feel, you can just keep forever. But the bigger the book, the heavier the bookshelf. And in my opinion, I'd rather have less books and a small bookshelf and just be happy. Just get that weight off your shoulders, man. That's what it is. It's a weight. That night we went out in Newcastle after we had that chat, and it was deep. That was deep stuff, and that went on for a long time. And I still feel that way about, in ways, the things we spoke about. But it helped. That night we went out. It's just like freedom. You know what I mean? It's like freedom. It is so refreshing and rewarding to be honest with yourself. And that sounds like a crazy thing, but it is so fucking, pardon me, sorry. I'm getting, you know what I'm trying to say here. I think it is so incredible to be honest with yourself. And while I've been out here, I feel like and there's nothing wrong with my environment at home because everyone is super supportive at home. I've got good friends, got great family. So I don't feel like the environment at home is stopping me from saying anything, I feel like. But when I'm out here, no one knows me. Like I said to you before we got on here, I just walk down the beach and say how I feel that day. I feel good. People that are maybe sitting at the beach are thinking, what the hell is that guy doing? Get a load of this guy, you know. And they're just sitting there seeing me walking the dog and half the time just laying in the sand with the dog, not even walking. And they're thinking, what the hell is this idiot doing? Just saying how I feel. That's just it.
Mate, being honest it's so important because, like you say, if you're not, especially with yourself, if you're not honest with yourself, you almost know instantly if you're not honest with yourself because you know deep down, you know exactly what yourself is telling you. That intuition of this, it goes into so many aspects. It goes into what you want to do with your life. If you're not being honest with what that is, and you're just doing something you don't enjoy, or doing things on a day-to-day basis which don't align with who you want to be, it's going to feel like a constant battle. And the same way with being honest with your friends and communicating, it's so important. You have to be fluid because if you're not honest, it always comes back to bite you. I can see you. I can see you. You got something that's just
No, I'm going to ask you a question, Dan. Why is being honest so difficult? And actually, and also to kind of add to that, is it more difficult to be honest with yourself than to be honest with someone else?
that's such a good question. That's such a good question because something that's so good for us is so difficult to do. I think a lot of it with human beings. I'm going to start off with others. Being honest with others. I think a lot of it with human beings is we don't like conflict or disagreement as human beings. I think we do like peace. We like to get along with people. We're social beings, and that's not a negative thing. It's good that we want to get along with people. But I think when it comes to being honest with others, I think let's say you've got a friend who's doing something which you don't quite agree with, whether that's what their morals, maybe that's the way they speak to certain people. Maybe they're a bit rude. Maybe they're a bit disrespectful. Maybe they've been disrespectful to you. It's tough to be honest because being honest means, first of all, you have to be vulnerable by being honest because you're saying how you feel. Second of all, you're then putting someone else in a position where they have to be vulnerable because they then have to almost question how they're being, and it's not it's almost it almost feels like you're calling someone out, but you're not, because they then have to think about the way they've gone about something, and then there's that concern of, are they gonna take it the wrong way, and they're gonna completely go against what you're saying, and that could potentially lead to confrontation. And I think that's why I say with me and you, and I've got other friends who are the same. I think your closest mates are the ones you feel like you have the biggest freedom to be honest with. And often they're people who are open minded. They're people who are willing to take on board criticism about themselves. And it's not criticism, but willing to take on board things that maybe you're like, if you notice something about me which you weren't the biggest fan of, I'd want you to tell me. And I'd definitely think I'd consider what I'm doing. And I'd want that. You need to consider yourself. And then I think in terms of yourself, I think being honest with yourself is also very difficult because often maybe insecurity ties into it. Maybe we're insecure about who that person is. Maybe it doesn't tie into everyone around us. Maybe we're going to stick out a bit more if we're honest. Maybe it's more tough to be honest because we're not going to be as part of the crowd if we're honest. Maybe we're going to go into a different direction, which is away from where we've always been by being honest. It's the journey of honesty it's a powerful question you asked me, brother, because you just realize how difficult that is. But I'll fire it straight back to you. What are your thoughts?
I think it is. I think being honest is tough, and I think it's tough because we have a perception of how bad it'll be for ourselves after we tell someone. Like we have this perception that once we tell someone, it's going to be like the worst thing you've ever experienced. You know, maybe there's something you needed to own up to that you really didn't want to own up to. but you were kind of like, I've just got to be honest. I've just got to do it, you know. And for some people, there's some pretty bad things. Some people are happy being dishonest and they don't mind it. You know, I know that we've all seen the viral Coldplay thing of that guy cheating on his wife, and yeah, sure, like I'm gonna have a laugh at it, but if you've had parents that have cheated on each other, or a parent that has cheated on another parent, it's pretty deep. This is pretty deep stuff. Like we all laugh about it because we're like, look at this idiot, just got caught on the TV, and I'm glad he's been caught. I don't know the guy, but I can guarantee you he's an asshole because of what we've seen on there. And it links back to the relationships episode and how we are with people. And go and listen to that because that's one of my favourites. Relationships. It was really, really good. Was it
That
episode
got
26?
people quite enjoyed that one. That got a bit of a spark up in our viewership. So go and listen to relationships. That is a really good episode for sure.
Go and listen. And I think as well, like I don't want to go on a tangent about this stupid CEO and the HR department lead or whoever it is, but like legit, like these people that have been dishonest have hurt a lot of people. So a lot of the time, sometimes you just being honest is gonna help people. I'm not saying that him being honest would have helped that situation, but I'm saying that being dishonest causes more pain for the people around you in a lot of scenarios. And if it doesn't hurt people around you, your dishonesty will hurt yourself. It's do you know it's one or the other.
Exactly, bro.
Or
Because go on.
no, I was just gonna say, or you can just fix that problem and just be honest and you kill two birds with one stone.
Maybe that's why that's the thing. You either suffer by being honest in the first place, and then you're free for the rest of whatever you were honest about, or you're dishonest, which feels great in the time you're being dishonest because you're not facing the truth. But then after, it's always going to come back to bite every single time. And the main thing which underlies in honesty is vulnerability, and I think that's why it is so difficult. But mate, it's such a big one. It's if you, it's like one of the biggest things which you said there, which is so true, is when you've done something that's wrong, which we all do. No one's lived a life where everything's been right.
Loads of wrong
When
stuff.
you've done something wrong, you've either been a bit dishonest in the first place with a friend, you've done something which goes against everything you say. I don't know, you've broke someone's belt, but you broke
Who's done that?
someone's, you've lost something of someone's, or you've broke something of someone's. If you just own up to it, as hard as it is, because you know you're about to face the truth of it, it will always be so much more freeing after, because people respect honesty, even if the thing is something you've done wrong. If you're honest about it, you can't remove the fact you've done something wrong,
Mm.
but the recovery from doing something wrong is going to be so much more freeing. Honesty is powerful.
It's huge. And I'll ask you another question, Dan. And if you can answer it briefly, that'd be good for this. But how far can you run in one go? If I said to you run, how long could you reckon you could run for time wise?
Time?
Time wise.
Well, I've done a marathon, which was the longest time was 4 hours 16. So I'd probably say if I was going to run for as long, I would probably say 4 hours 30.
And you know when you were running, why did you stop running?
Because it was the finish line. That's what the perceived goal was. Once you get to there, you stop. That was the aim. So you're not gonna carry on. That's the finish line.
Well, let's imagine there was no finish line and you just come to a natural halt. You'd assume you're stopping because you physically can't handle it anymore, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, on my last marathon, I stopped. I did stop because I felt like I couldn't carry on. I felt like it was too much. The heat, my body, everything.
So grab that moment. That moment is things you're not being honest about. Up until the point where you stop and you're honest with yourself and you're like, this is how I feel. I can't keep running. Just got to face this moment and then I can get back to running with a bit of weight lifted off your shoulders. You being dishonest is like running a marathon. Not positive, but it's like you can run far, and you'll probably shock yourself at how far you can run, the time you do it in, the distance, all that kind of stuff. You'll be shocked at the terrain that you can overcome while running. But everyone faces the same eventuality. At some point, you slow down and you realize you just have to stop and just, in this instance, be honest and just say how you feel with everything. That's how I would visualize it. It's like running a race. And naturally, you just have to slow down. And eventually, everyone will be honest about something at some point in their life. Anything can trigger it. You going for a bacon sandwich down at the Beeston Social on a Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, could trigger you telling someone you love them or running away or anything. But anything can trigger it. What I'm trying to say is you don't want to sort of be, for the rest of your life, just a package of dishonesty and lies to yourself and other people, because you'll forever just be carrying around heavy weight.
Your life will be so much easier if you're honest. 100%. It's the truth every time. I think the truth always wins, bro. Every single time, man. Every
Yeah.
single time.
I feel like if you skipped out a lot of what we've said just be honest with yourself so many times that if you were a listener just hearing those bits, you'd be like taking your headphones going, what the hell's going on? What's going on? Like some like CIA torture technique, like just be honest. Just say something, just be honest. But like on a serious note, however you feel about anything, even if it is just a walk somewhere and you just tell yourself how you feel, being honest with yourself is where it starts. And we all know people going through tough times at the moment that are facing really, really tough stuff. Be honest with your friends, help them out. Because as you say, if there was something I didn't like about you, Dan, I'd say it. There's stuff I would say we've spoken about, you letting people treat you a certain way sometimes and giving them a bit too much leeway. It was one of my biggest issues when we sat down and spoke. I say issues. It was one of my biggest concerns for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Not issues, because I haven't got any issues with the way you live. That's you. But I'm concerned about all my friends for various different reasons. Some things I'm concerned about and it's stupid. Things like that. And I'm like, potential to harm you. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think as friends, we should look out for that a little bit more.
100%. And we should tell those friends, if they're doing something which we think isn't best for them. We can always tell them. They don't have to take action off it, but at least we've told them how we feel about something because it's how we feel. A question to end the podcast. The podcast. A
Wow.
question to end the podcast on is a question which I was going to be asked in the Sunset Journal I did with Mo, but I wasn't because he forgot. But I didn't know how I was going to respond to this question. I still don't know how I'd respond to this question. It'll be interesting what I would have responded. But the question is, when was the last time you surprised yourself?
Last week. Yeah. Pretty recent. As I said in the last episode, I think I said in the last episode, super scared of water for the most part. We went in this really wavy bit. And I know I made it sound quite positive, but I was really, really scared. And I was shocked that I pushed through that barrier of, I can't do this, to, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And I swallowed loads of water and I panicked. I had to sit on coral and I got stung by jellyfish. And it was also a very horrible event that I've had dreams about since. And I'm like, that was terrible. I surprised myself that I have the mental strength to break through stuff that I've always worried about and always just avoided. I would say, yeah, I would
I think
say
for me,
last week.
it's just. I think what I was trying to understand is why is that surprising?
Because I've avoided it for so long. And when you're at home, we're so far from water or anything that could put you in some form of danger by going in it. And sure, there is water near us, but we avoid it. You're out here. This is what they live by. These guys are ocean people. The guys I was with, since they were 3, 4, 5 years old, their parents have been taking them out in the ocean, snorkeling, diving. It's all they know. I surprise myself because I've always said that I'd never do these things. Snorkeling, no, not for me, never do it. Swimming with sharks, no, I wouldn't do it. Swimming in any water in Australia more than knee deep, I would never do it. Just gone and done it. And all right, it wasn't the best thing ever. I'm not some Olympic swimmer or anything like that. You know, if you'd watched a video of it, I'd probably make myself look like an idiot. But I was surprised because I learnt something new about myself that I didn't know. I always will say I'm a strong person mentally and I would like to think physically, but I didn't realize that I could break through that barrier of I can't do this because I've been in that position so many times. You know, so many, and it all stems from me nearly drowning as a kid. This is how crazy kind of your life is. You know, a lot of the things that you talk about and you worry about, they stem from these small things. So me almost drowning in Bramcote swimming baths because my dad wasn't watching me one time has me in fear at nearly 20 years old of going in the sea. And I overcame it. It felt like I had finished the battle with myself. That's what that felt like. How about you? Is there something that surprised
I
you?
think the reason why I didn't know how I'd respond to that is because I was asking myself, why is it surprising? Like, why am I not backing myself to be able to do those things? But then I think about what you just said, and I think about the idea that there are a lot of things which I never thought I would do, and maybe it is surprising that I did them. Like I never thought I'd run a marathon, so I did surprise myself when I actually went and did it. But I just don't know if the word I just don't know about the word surprise because I'm asking myself, why is it surprising? You know, do I not back myself to do something like that? But then it is something I never thought I'd do. It's maybe the question for me would be, what's something you never thought you'd do but you did it? I don't know if it's surprising. I think that's where the conflict is in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think that some would call it self-doubt, and that it shouldn't surprise you, you shouldn't doubt yourself, and stuff like that. Which I do get the self-doubt thing, but like I would say that I'm quite honest with myself regarding the water situation. I know, terrified, but it was genuine shock. I couldn't believe it. I got home and I'm like, I cannot believe. I got home from WA and I was like, I cannot believe half the things I did on that trip.
Yeah, it does surprise you. It does surprise
I
you.
just can't believe it. Like I just cannot believe that I'd gone out and done it. And life's too short, man. Life really is too short to even worry about half the stuff we worry about. To be honest, like I worry about what time I wake up, what I'm having for breakfast. Just go and do it. Just wake up, put some music on, make some breakfast, listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, Anthony Bourdain. I don't know. Just do something, or
Go
put
and
this
do it.
podcast on. That's a better idea. And I just want to give a shout out as well um, to all our friends, people we know, your friends that are listening now, people that are trying their best to make themselves the best they can be. People that are working on projects. Obviously, we know Henry. Henry's got his thing going on, which I'll try and put a link into as well, because I think it's brilliant when people start their own business, they start their own brand, they start branding themselves. Such an amazing thing. So be honest with your mates, tell them what you think about their stuff they're doing, but just support them, man. Support them, give support to people.
Be honest. It's very important. I think if there's anything you can take away from this episode, it's be honest with yourself and others.
And guess what the title is called, people? Episode 30. Be honest. No exclamation mark. All good. Well, have a fantastic week. Please, if you can, looking at the Making It moments. We've got a massive catalogue of episodes available, courtesy of Dan. He's done a great job. He's got a lovely setup in his living room as well. It's pretty good. It's like one of them TV talk show hosts, like David Letterman or something like this. It's
We make
Daniel
it work.
Letterman. He makes it work. Well, let us know how your week goes. Contact us, making it poddy or makingitpoddy@gmail.com for our email. Until then, we'll see you next Tuesday at 10 in the morning, as we do every week. Episode 30. Be honest.
Take care, everybody, and thanks for listening.
Bye.